Hello, everybody. My name is Olga Kamchatka, and I'm very honored to begin this Tango exercise marathon online, second edition. So, right now, we're going to have the first class, and we are going to work on our body center and the work of ribs to help the body center work. And while everybody is still assembling, I'm going to tell you why I have chosen this topic for the very first class of the marathon. So the reason is very simple. From every teacher at the marathon, you will probably hear that every movement starts in the center, you need to have your center active and all that. So this is not something to discuss. But when the students come to us, they have lots of complaints, and generally the complaints are, I have no balance, or I have disconnection with my partner, or I cannot feel being grounded, I cannot get my leg free. And no students come with a question like, I cannot feel my center, I cannot get it active. But generally, all other problems are connected with this one. So right now, we will start getting our center active and understanding how this actually works so that you could use it for all the upcoming classes of the marathon. Let's stand up. Let's have a quick warm-up first to wake our body up. So we're not going to do anything difficult. Stand comfortably and let's just wake up, especially those who have 9 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, you need to wake up your body. So let's rotate our head. Perfect. Okay, now shoulders. Shoulders back. Okay, now look, one shoulder back, another forward. One back, another forward, one back, another forward, and combine. So wake up your brain too. Very good. Now again, one shoulder back, another forward. One back, another forward, back and forward, and do it smoothly. Okay, very well. Now, let's work with the chest. Back and forward. Don't go to any extremes, just do this to wake your body up. Okay, perfect. Now, let's stretch parallel to the floor. We're stretching our chest parallel to the floor. Stretch it well, because we need these muscles to be really stretched. Thus, we can make them active. And another side. Okay, very well. And once again. And here. Okay, perfect. Now, let's stretch upwards with one side, and then we'll go to the side and continue stretching there in the direction of your hand. Good, back up, another side, first up, and then side. Very well, once again. Cool, and again. Nice. Now let's wake up the hip joints. Let's rotate the hips. While doing this, think of your hip joints. Cool, I see you working. That's nice. Great. Let's go in another direction. Okay, perfect. Now, we are standing on one axis and just rotating the leg from the hip joint. Okay, great. Now, continue standing on the same leg and we are just rotating it from the knee. Okay, and now stretch this leg forward and rotate the foot. Okay, great. Now let's do all of them in another direction. So first the foot in another direction. So if you were doing clockwise, now counterclockwise. Okay, now from the knee. Okay, great. And now from the hip joint. Okay, try to keep your body stable, not like this, yes? So it's just the leg that is working. Okay, great. Now let's change the axis. Stand still here. And rotate the hip. Okay, now hip stable, working from the knee. Very well. Now stretch your leg forward. Let's work with the foot. Okay, and now in another direction, the other way around. Foot. From the knee. Okay, and now the hip. Great, just a little bit of warm up for your feet and then we'll be able to continue. So let's just go up. Let's get them warm, let's get them working. Okay, great. Now we'll be standing on the heels, raising the toes. And let's walk a little bit on the heels. This is not something we typically do for tango, but this is very good for our feet to make them more stable, to make them healthier. Okay, now let's walk on the outer part of our feet. Yes, outer part. Great, and inner part. And toes. And heels. And again, outer part. And inner part. And relax them and try stretching them on the floor like cat paws. Okay, something is writing. They were asking to approach, but I think this is not that much important. So this was just a warm-up. Now, we're going to do the exercise which I personally call the Eiffel Tower, because we are going to grow from the floor upwards, imagining that you are this famous tower. Okay, what is the idea? So first you have to relax a little bit, so actually as much as possible. And then, look, I'm pushing the floor with the inner part of my legs and growing upwards in the middle of my body and continuing this grow with my arms and with my hands. And then we'll just drop it. Then we will continue. Okay, once again. So we're growing from the feet. And just drop it. Okay, concentrate on the inner part of your muscles. There, and inside your body, okay? So this is not just happening in the arms. This is happening in your whole body. Okay, great. Now, take a deep breath. Breathe out. And once again, do it very properly. Grow. Grow, 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 grow. And drop it. And just one time without me, I'll turn on the phone. I don't want anybody to interrupt us. Okay, perfect. Now we're going to change this position a little bit. We're going to grow from the floor and look what's happening with my arms, okay? So I am opening them, going to the sides, and from the sides, circular forward while standing. Okay, once again, so from inner muscles, we're growing upwards, opening, down, first of all, immobilities down, then arms down, and forward. And a few more times. So up, and opening, and a little bit down, and forward. Okay, and once again, up, sides, and forward, circle. And again, up, sides, and circle. Now, for a change, first of all, do it with a lot of muscle tension, yes? Try to really work 3 times. And then try to do it relaxed. So no pain, any special muscle strength, not putting any tension there, just relax. So first of all, 3 strong ones. Up, and open, and circle. I'll show from the side. Up, and open, and circle. And again, up, and open, and circle. And now the same idea, pretty much relaxed. Up, and open, and circle. Up, and open, and circle. Up, and open, and circle. Okay, you might wonder, why does it have to do with the body center? But the reason is that we really need to be stretched upwards to work with the center, because if we're not stretched, if we don't have all these muscles active, then we cannot work with the center. So this is what we are doing while we are preparing to dance with someone. Like, we're stretching forward and we are creating the circle to create an embrace. So this idea might help you if you include it into your regular morning exercises. And now let's work with the body core. We'll do a few exercises. Try to really work with the muscles. Yeah, try to feel which muscles are supposed to work and not just imitate, but work. If you have a really high body awareness, then it works even better than the regular sit-ups on the floor. So we'll have one axis. Try to stretch upwards here like we did in the exercise. Yes, stretch and stretch. And from this position, we are going to let this free hip go down with the foot forward. And now we are going to work with these muscles in the side of the body, raising the free hip and letting it go down. Raising and letting it go down. So it's up and down, up and down. But your baseline is always stretched upwards. Yeah, I'm not losing it. Always upwards. So up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. While doing this, try to think what is happening in your body, in which position you have more balance, in which you have less balance, where you feel more comfortable, where you feel less comfortable. Don't do anything with it, just analyze it. And in the meanwhile, we're working with this very important part of the core, which we very often forget because we do all those sit-ups, we want to have great abs, and because of that, we are not really working with the muscles we actually need. Okay, let's change the axis. So again, stretch upwards here, let your free hip fall down, and we are going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. If you want to work with your balance more, of course you don't put the foot on the floor. If it's a little hard, you can put it on the floor, of course. And again, try to think of your balance, of what's going on with your body, which muscles are working, Actually, all of them are working. It's not just that only this part is working. No, all the core is working and all the back is working. And just 5 more. Okay, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, very well. So we've been working with all the muscles here in the center of our body, which take our free hip up or release it. So you very often hear this phrase, release your free hip, but sometimes it's very difficult to get these muscles free. So sometimes you can just push it down a little bit with the muscles and then it will relax. It will be much more likely than if you just try to relax. So understand what's going on. Okay, let's do 10 times for each side, but you don't just take it up, but you also push down here. Yes, so that the muscle works for contraction and for pushing down here. Okay, so 10 for each leg. Up and down, push. Up and push. Up and push. Up and push. 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Change the leg, and of course don't lose your baseline. Yes, we're standing up high here. Okay, 10 and down, 9 and push, 8 and push, 7 and down, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great. So I feel like my sides are getting warm. I hope yours are getting warm as well. Now, let's work with a little bit different group of muscles. So right now, it was exactly this side, which we sometimes need. Now, let's work with this line. So I will be not just putting it up here, look, up here. Yes, like up here. But not with the whole part of my core, but just with one side only. This might be a little difficult, but still have a try. I will come closer to you so that you see which muscles are actually working. So not this, but this. So it's side and up. So this rib to this hip joint. Okay? Let's work. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 more. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and release and push it down. Yeah, so now we use these muscles for pushing down as well. Okay, change the axis. Let's work with this part. Yes, never sit on the hip, up here in the baseline, and let's work with this side. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. You can actually put your fingers here like me to feel this contraction in the muscle. And 8 more. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. This looks very easy, but this is not as easy as it seems. You probably feel it. Yeah, your muscles are really working. They're really hot. And now one last thing we need to do here is this diagonal connection. So the connection of these ribs to these hip joints. So what we will be doing? We will be connecting the rib to the hip. And not just to the hip joint, maybe to the middle of your inner thigh. Like this. And again, remember that we need to get the muscles working, not just raise your leg. Now we're working with the core. So get them toned, diagonal. Let's do this diagonal. So yeah, if you started with this side, then this side. Okay, let's do again, twice by 8. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. Once again, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. Change the line. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. Cool. Let's take a deep breath, breathe out, and relax. Do 3 more breaths yourself. And I'm going to take some water and maybe put my hair away and see what you're actually writing. Okay. So, while you're still relaxing, while you're taking a breath, why do we need all these things? So, they establish connection between upper body and lower body. So, this line works for taking us up in the baseline and letting us go down in the free line, and also it works for the grounding. This is what we are going to discuss in the 3rd lesson. And this line works for body contour position and to initiate any kind of movement. But there is one very important thing we need to add to the work of our core to make sure that it is working properly. So first of all, let's start with relaxing our hips. So we are doing this just to get them relaxed, not to distract us from working with anything else. So let's do a small circle with the hips. Try to relax as much as possible. Okay, very well. Another side. Okay, great. And let's also move the hips forward and back and forward and back. So nothing special, just if you feel any muscle cramps, try releasing them if you can. If you cannot, it's okay. Okay, and move it in any way you like, so do anything you want to get as free as possible. Okay, in this position, let's grow upwards, open, and go to the sides. And today we're going to work with the ribs and with the chest. We're going to first of all work with the chest to let it open and close. Just a little bit open and close. Open and close. While you're doing this, you're now warm, so you can do a little bit more than what you did as the warm-up. So yeah, we're working with the chest. I will speak a little bit. A very big problem in Tango technique is that we often mix the notions of the chest and of the ribs. And these two are a little bit different. Look, a closed position of the chest is not something we need in Tango because this has nothing to do with stretching upwards. Look, in the closed position of the chest, we cannot stretch upwards. We need to keep it a little bit open or at least relaxed, neutral. But the position of the ribs is extremely important to work with a partner because they can open and close too. And this is the work which is a little bit different. So now you will have to put your hands on your lower ribs. Yeah, you can feel them. with your fingers, put them there, and try to feel this movement that we can open our front ribs, thus making this distance between the fingers bigger, and close them. If I show from this perspective, this is not about this movement in the spine, this is movement in the ribs. It's much smaller, but it is important. So right now, with the front ribs only, we're working to open them and close. Of course, this involves your spine too, and this is okay. This is not a problem. Right now, while doing this, remember, what are your teachers used to saying? Probably they are saying, keep your ribs closed. Let's think of the idea why and what it actually means. So, look, if I have my ribs open, I'm kind of pushing my partner away from me and at the same time going away from him in my upper body. And this is not something we need for dancing tango. This is one thing. Then, when I open my ribs, I put too much pressure on my lower back here, and it's very hard for me to keep my center concentrated, like all these lines working, if I have my ribs open, because I can now feel the tension in these lines. So what we normally need for dancing is keeping these ribs closed. But it's kind of hard to do if you don't realize what's going on in the all the rest of your chest. So let's think of it. Let's take a breath, relax, and do this once again. Breathe in and breathe out. And breathe in and breathe out. And grow up and open and go in the circle. Actually, when we do this circular movement, we already close our ribs, and this is very, very important. Right now, put your hands on your ribs and take a very deep breath and think which part of your body is expanding while you are taking a breath. Let's take a breath. Maybe once again. Breathe in and breathe out. And let's think. We have different options. For example, we can expand at the level of the collarbones here. I will approach to you like. This happens when we are stressed and we are not breathing deep. We can expand forward here. It will look like this. I don't know how big your lungs are. Mine are about 6 liters. So all these 6 liters go here. Okay, this is one option. Then we can breathe into the stomach, for example, which looks like this. It depends. Or we can breathe to the sides of your chest. Or we can breathe to your back, expanding there. So we have the whole volume of lungs inside of our body. Now take one more breath and think where exactly you are breathing. And breathe out. I'm not going to ask you where you're breathing right now, but tomorrow before the class, you will tell me if you want. So what we need is this idea that to breathe in tango, we are breathing here and here. So at this moment, when they're thinking of closing the ribs, we're thinking of only our front ribs, but our side ribs and our omoplatas are expanding, which is a very easy thing to understand because, yes, we have this volume of our chest. If they're closing one part of it, another should be expanding. So let's work with omoplatas separately. Again, we will grow up and breathe out and go to the sides. And now we will breathe in, expanding to the sides. Breathe in. And feel like your omoplatas are going to the sides. Yeah, they're expanding. And with this idea, we are going forward. So we're expanding in the back and here. And if you put your hands on your front ribs, you will probably feel that they are closed because it's next to impossible to expand in the omoplatas and open the ribs. But control it just in case. Okay, once again, up, breathe in, breathe out, and breathe in and go forward and circle, and breathe out, and feel like you're in a very comfortable position right here. So you have all these lines in your core connected, you feel your back strong, you feel your ribs closed, you feel your omoplatus expanding, and your sides here are expanding too. Okay, let's relax a little bit, do whatever. And once again, we'll take a breath, breathe in, like this, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in and expand to the sides, and go forward, and breathe out. And you can release the muscle tension because I don't need lots of muscle work to keep this position. I can be pretty much relaxed, but still having these connections in my core, and my hips heavy, and ribs closed, and the omoplatus expanding, and my arms free to embrace. Yep, okay, one last time. Do it properly. Try to feel what's going on in your body. If you feel like you have any questions, put them down because we'll have like 5 or 10 minutes to work with them. Okay? Up and breathe out and breathe in and go forward and circle and breathe out and relax. Yeah, I'm pretty much relaxed. I'm not stressed. This is a very comfortable position for me. And of course, some of the muscles in our body are working because I am standing, I want to be active, and I don't want to fall down on the mat. So that's why, of course, some of the muscle groups are working. Primarily, these will be the inner muscles in our legs because we have been working with them in the exercise. And this is what we need for tango. It doesn't matter whether we are standing like this or we're standing like this. We're using the inner thigh muscles. And the core is working too. Okay, Lithuania here, perfect. Now, guys, we are going to do something extremely important for our dance. So we have this position. Let's do it once again. Let's get to this position. You can do it pretty quickly. Check that your omoplatus are expanding and your ribs are closed. So if I put my hands on the ribs here, I'm having my fingers next to each other. Yeah. So here are the ribs, not apart, next to each other. Okay. And let's feel what we can else do with the ribs. We can work with one side more than with the other. I shall approach. Look, you can do this kind of movement in your ribs. So in this case, this part of my ribs is going circular and a little bit down here. You can see this properly, yes? Or this part of the ribs can go here. If you have never tried doing this, it might be a little bit hard, but let's try. Okay, put your hands to help you control. Make sure your ribs are closed, your omoplatus are expanding, and you have no this kind of bend on your back. So relax it. And let's work with one side. Circular and a little bit down. And you will feel like this connection with your body is getting very, very strong. Like 10 times one side. 3. And 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, and 10. Okay, if it is hard for you, try to use your breath. So if you breathe out, that's going to be easier. It's like and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, and 10. Okay, perfect. Of course, I have a little bit of movement in my shoulders also because I want to show this to you, but in reality, this is a very small movement, of course. Yes, it's very, very small, but this is very, very important. So now let's take a breath and do this once again. So try to do it as much as you can. If you are moving your chest or your shoulders a little bit, I think it's okay. But if you can isolate this movement, better. Take a breath, breathe out, Relax. Put your hands on your ribs. And let's work once again. 1 and 2, circular down. 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. And another side. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. Actually, this movement resembles very much this idea we have been doing, but smaller and isolated. Yes? Okay, now let's see how it works with our body. Let's get into a normal tango posture. So we're standing on one leg. I think there will be other teachers to work with posture with you exactly, but let's just check that we're having our hips relaxed and grounded and back, so hips not going forward. We're stretching upwards, chest forward, ribs closed, shoulders down, head relaxed. Yeah, so this is the basic posture. And our weight is a little bit in the front, but right now this is not of utmost importance. And have your free foot next to your base one. Okay, and let's work how this idea of working the ribs helps you to do the projection. So this is not the only thing influencing the projection, but this is very important. Like, if I'm standing on my left leg, I'm pushing the rib of my base leg, the left one, and it creates this great tension in the core, because we already have this line connected, and I'm pressing it, and this pressure goes to my free leg, and thus causes the projection. Interesting. Let's work. So, baseline, we're strong here, because if you're not strong here, I can push up to the evening, nothing will happen. If I'm strong here, I push. This pushing goes here because we have this line connected, and it helps me go down here in the free leg and project. So let's work 8 and 8, for example. 1, 2, project, push. Okay, push here, and then project. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Of course, you can do it at your own speed. The main idea is to feel this connection of this rib to this hip. Remember this line we have been working with? We have this line active, and we are making it more active with this movement of the rib. Push, feel this pressure going down, and then project. Push, pressure going down and project. Push and project. Push and project. Push and project. 4 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great, guys. So, we often say that we push with our base leg, but yeah, the leg also has the connection to the rest of our body. We initiate this movement here, and we are pushing to both legs. We are pushing down, but I cannot go down here in the base leg. I cannot go to the side. This is not something with what I need. So yeah, I'm pushing with my base leg. But my free leg is free, and that's why it's projected. Because it can go very much down, of course, or it can go forward, so I regulate this movement. But it all starts here in the center. And when we say center, what exactly? It's a combination of multiple muscles, but personally I think that this rib movement is very important because it gets all of your muscles active. I hope it works for you. Let's think of the back projection. So we have a little bit more time and you have no questions, so let's work. The idea is basically the same, but the rib is different. So I'm standing here and I'm using the opposite rib to have this circular movement and have this connection to the standing leg. And when I'm pushing more, my leg is released backwards. Look how it looks from this side. I have my normal position, I close the ribs more, I push more, and thus my leg is released. So let's work with this back projection. Okay, so baseline here, closed ribs, expanding omoplatus, and push, and release, and push, and release. So it kind of goes like this. And push, and push, and push, and push, and 3 more, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, and another side. Of course, we will have to connect this movement to the base leg a little bit more. We will show you exercises. Other teachers will show them too. Maybe they show you a little bit different approach to this kind of body work. But we are all talking about the same. So we all are for the same style of social tango dancing, and we are all talking about the same things. So you have this opportunity to analyze what's going on. So again, stretching your baseline, have your normal tango posture, hips back, chest forward, ribs closed, and let's feel this line first, feel that we have this connection, and push the ribs of your free part, and push more, and thus get your free leg released. And a few more times, and 3 more, and 2 more, and 1 more. Okay, perfect. Now let's take this final breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Again, breathe in, breathe out. And for 20 seconds, we're going to do one last exercise to get you released from the muscle blocks. So I'm just standing and kind of jumping and hitting the floor with my heels. So I feel like, I don't know, a character of the Zombieland. So yeah, don't be too hard on yourself. Let your body move if it wants to move, whatever. Okay, 10 seconds, 9 seconds, 8 seconds, just a little bit more, and stop. And once again, breathe in and breathe out. Okay, someone has written something, probably that we are out of time. Thank you so much for the lesson. You're welcome, guys. It's a pleasure to work with you all. If you have any questions, let's discuss them tomorrow. You have time to think of them. But if there's something urgent, of course, feel free to turn on the microphone and ask that right now, or say that right now, as you wish. Okay, so probably you have no questions. If you have something to ask, do this. You can always just write me a message on Facebook and I will reply, because this seems easy. Then you start thinking of it and it's like a ton of questions you have. Feel free to ask them. Bye-bye. So in 3 hours from now will be the class by Laisa. So she will rock you guys. That was a great start. So cool to see you all. Bye-bye. Alexander, I think you can